A two, a one, go. Welcome everybody to Geekvice episode 276, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph, that man's Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening.
We are back after a nice holiday. Was it really a break? I don't know. I don't really call this a break. We're just so freaking busy. Just non-stop, constantly moving, going, doing stuff, but it was fun. We did a lot of things, and so what have you been doing for the last couple weeks?
Well, I did as little as I could get away with, for one thing, which was nice. Never get to do that.
I was going to say, that's impressive.
Yeah. Well, work is going to start hating me because I took 10 days off between Christmas and New Year's. Went back to work for this week, and then next week I'm on vacation again. So
nice.
It's going to feel like I took a month off. It's also going to feel like I did a month's worth of work in this week. So there's a trade-off.
Yeah, I took the week of Christmas off, went back for a couple of days around New Year's, and then I had to take off yesterday and today from work because my wife is traveling for work and the kids don't go back to school until tomorrow, so somebody had to hang out with the kids yesterday and today, and that was really nice because this last weekend I helped run a soccer tournament with our soccer club to raise money for our trip to Spain this summer.
Holy cow.
And the soccer tournament did really well, but I was at the facility on Friday at 4 o'clock and left there at 8:30, and then turned around, was back up at the facility at 7 o'clock Saturday morning and didn't leave there until 9:30. And then on Sunday, Amber went up there at 7 to set up for the bake sale. I didn't get up there until about 8:30 because we let the kids sleep in a little bit. And got up there. So I got up there at 8:30 and then left. I had 3 soccer teams. I was coaching 5 teams, and 3 of the 5 made the finals. So we were done finally at 6. Finally got out of there about 6:30. So it was by the time we got home on Sunday, I was just like, I was ready to collapse. I was asleep by 10, and that's the earliest I've been to sleep since I'm high school, maybe. Like, I don't go to sleep that early. I'm usually the midnight 1 o'clock guy. 10 o'clock on Sunday night, I'm just like passed out cold. So
I don't know how people with kids do all this stuff anyway.
Well, and some of this was the kids, some of this was me volunteering for stuff to just kind of help out. Like I said, it was a fundraiser. It was a fundraiser tournament is what it was. All the proceeds from the tournament go towards the several different trips to Europe for kids to play soccer, and there are some kids that without the money raised from this tournament, they just wouldn't be able to go, and so it's kind of giving people the chance to experience something that's really cool and once in a lifetime type of thing by going to Europe and play soccer with some of the top clubs in the world. And so a little sacrifice from me is not all bad. I'll do it for that. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, when you get to watch a team that you're coaching put all the stuff together the right way and get wins and perform as well as they did this last weekend, it was kind of heartwarming. So made me
Sounds
feel
really
good.
good.
So yeah, it was fun. But then before that, it was we went and saw. Let's see, we went and saw them two different movies within a week around Christmas. So like the Friday before Christmas, we went and saw Jumanji, and then the Friday after Christmas, we went and saw Rise of Skywalker. So
Well, you went to the movie theater twice in 1 month. It's a Christmas miracle.
I know, man. We went twice in 1 week. I was like, holy cow. Um, but the boys are starting to enjoy going to the movies, and like they will actually sit through a whole movie and not have to go to the bathroom halfway through, which is like,
That's something because there's a lot of adults that go to movie theater who can't do that.
yeah, right. That's one of my biggest pet peeves at movie theaters. It's not the cell phones or people talking or people making comments. I mean like I can handle that, but when the guy in front of you gets up and like his giant head blocks out half the screen as he's walking in front of you, like because he didn't go to the bathroom beforehand or he decided to polish off an entire 2 liter of soda that they sell you in the first 5 minutes of the movie. And I love it now, like the opening credit things for the movies, they have like it's like the polar bear from or not polar bear, it's like the bear from the Charmin commercials or whatever, and he's pouring water out. Did you see that in yours?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
this is your pre-movie warning. 5 minutes in, you're gonna have to go to the bathroom, and it's just like pouring that water. It's just like, oh, that's cruel. Funny but cruel. So yeah, it's been a good time. I've been able to watch a lot of stuff on TV. Been able to watch a lot of movies, play some board games. It has been busy, but fun, all in the same thing.
Yeah, I know we're not going to talk about board games this time, but I always have to mention it when I get to do this. New Year's Day, we played Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep, had a full 6 people it holds 6 players, so we had the
Mm-hmm.
full complement of players for it, and oh man, I love that game so much.
Oh yeah. We'll save that for next week. We'll talk all about board games next week. I'm hoping,
Not
or
next week.
not next week, the week after. So I guess announcement, news of notes, something to keep track of. There will not be a Geekvice episode next week, as both Kip and I will be away from home. He will be traveling for vacation, and I will be traveling for work. So, um, just not going to work out next week. But I'm hoping by the next time we record, I will get to add another board game to the list that I've played, and that's Seven Wonders that we got for Christmas. So, uh, looking forward to play that game. I've already opened it up and got out all the pieces and read through the rules, and actually the rules to me sound fairly easy to play, so I'm looking forward to teaching my boys and maybe even get my wife playing and see how that goes. But
Nice.
yeah, I want to give that one a shot. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get started with the real meat and potatoes of this. Let's
Let's do
start.
that thing.
Let's start with the movie. Let's start with the movie. Let's start with the Star Wars. I think that's what it's called, right? Star Wars.
Yeah, some small franchise put out a movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Rise of what? Some Walker, Skywalker. That's what it was. Rise of Skywalker. Hmm. What'd you think there, Kip? The crit like
Well,
the backlash that came online from on this movie was like pendulum swinging one way to the other way. Like I didn't find anybody who was just like, "Hey, this is just an okay movie." It was like, "This was the worst Star Wars movie I've ever seen," or "This is a great Star Wars movie." I'm like, "Geez, Louise, man."
yeah, which is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing
which
is
side are you on?
I, I saw a bunch of reviews, didn't like read the reviews in depth because I didn't want any spoilers. But I saw a bunch of one-liners and stuff that people were just hating on this movie. Worst one in the entire franchise and stuff like that. So I went in it with, I guess, low expectations. And I am happy to say I absolutely love the movie.
I am right there with you. I actually went in going, I'm going to enjoy this movie, and I'm going to enjoy this movie because it's a Star Wars movie, and it's a Star Wars movie that I think was going to kind of be an actual finale, and um, I felt like it was really good. Like I thought. Now I'm kind of wondering. I'm not a Star Wars lore fanatic like I am for the X Men, which is, probably why some of the reason why I dislike the X Men so much. The X Men movies. Let me preface that the X Men movies, but and the same thing with Transformers. I love the Transformers lore. I know a ton about it. I've enjoyed it for so long. Star Wars has kind of been I've enjoyed Star Wars, but I can't tell you every single planet. I can't tell you which planet they were on and which movie and what happened on that. Like I can't even tell you the names of planets. I can't keep track of some characters. So I know the general concept of Star Wars. I enjoy the overall stories, and that's why I went into this movie going, I'm gonna enjoy this movie because it's gonna tell me this. It's going to tell me a story that is gonna be enjoyable, and I think that's what it did. Um, I'm
Yeah, I felt
wondering if
like it's the end of the Skywalker uh, story, basically, and I thought they wrapped it up really well. You know, I really didn't have any complaints at all about any part of the movie.
yeah,
I
yeah,
had a
me.
part that I wish wouldn't have happened, but I understand that it had to happen. And I won't get into that until we get into the spoilers part of this episode. But yeah,
So, well, that brings up the good question here. So, or the good spot. So let's put the spoiler warning in right now. Okay, guys, here's where we're gonna start talking about it. We're gonna start going in depth a little bit more because I wanna understand some things, and I'm not gonna be able to understand things if I don't ask these questions. We get into a little bit deeper. So, spoilers. We're gonna talk about the depths of it. If you haven't gone and seen this movie yet, what the hell are you doing? It's
what's wrong with you people?
Star Wars number 9. Why haven't you seen it yet? Um, Hit pause. Go watch the movie. It's still in theaters right now. It's probably still going to be in theaters for the next month. So go watch it there. Come back. Hit play again and pick it up the rest of the way. So, all right. What didn't you like?
Well, okay, so I'm going to preface all of this with a short story. So, it's called The Rise of Skywalker. You see the trailer, everybody's
Yep.
convinced that it's Rey.
Right.
And my theory was we only know of one Skywalker that's left. That's young. There's only one,
That's
and that
young.
was Ben Solo, Kylo Ren.
Well, he's
His
not.
mom's a Skywalker.
I guess that's true. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So to me, Rise of Skywalker was going to be Ben Solo. Kylo Ren turns back into Ben Solo, and there's the Rise of Skywalker. He becomes good, and you know, and then Bluebird sit on his shoulder, and everybody sings a song. But and at a certain point in the movie, it actually looked like that was going to happen,
Yeah. Yep.
and then he frickin' dies. That's the only part I wouldn't have done myself. I understand it. The bloodline had to end. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
but I was disappointed that he had to go. And it's not disappointed like it ruined the movie for me. I was disappointed because man, Adam Driver nailed it on that role. He was probably the best thing in that entire movie as far as acting ability.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I,
kudos
I,
to Adam Driver for making me not want his character to die. He nailed it.
well,
Um,
so
okay.
this brings up my question because I got a little confused, and I was hoping maybe you could help shed some light on it. So Palpatine is still alive, right? That's his name, right? Palpatine. That's the guy, the
Well,
bad
he
guy.
was, yeah.
Well, he was like a thing there in the
Yeah.
movie, and Rey is his granddaughter.
Yes.
So that guy's really freaking old, but Rey is not that old. So, but if she killed him, then she would become like the Sith Lord. But she was a Jedi. But if Ben Solo, if she were to die, then that meant that Jedi's died. So was Ben Solo not a Jedi then? Could he not like that was the part that I was confused with. They made this whole thing seem like there needed to be a balance, but only one was like the entire time Star Wars has always been a balance between good and evil.
Right.
And the whole movies, all the movies are based off this balance of good and evil. But then it came down to one person, and it had nothing to do with Ben Solo. It had everything to do with Rey. She was either going to kill Palpatine and become the dark side and like become like the all evil, or she was going to be like not kill him and be a Jedi. Like, but you have Ben Solo over here who has the Force too and wasn't dead at the time. Like,
Right.
how I was
Oh,
confused. I was really confused on that whole concept and idea. And so now are there no Sith now that he's dead? Like, there's no dark Force anywhere.
that is a good question. So this whole mess started. The whole mess started because there was a prophecy that a person strong with the Force that was going to bring balance to the Force, which I thought was funny because everybody thought you're the chosen one, you're supposed to bring balance to the Force, not realizing the Force was out of balance already at that time to the good guys. So bringing balance to the Force meant the bad guys got stronger, and for some reason nobody could see that.
Yeah.
So that started the whole mess. So by the time Anakin did his thing and became Darth Vader, there was a balance. There was only a couple of Siths and only a couple of Jedi left. So they got what they asked for. So I think the Force is always trying to be in balance. So with all that said, I think maybe there's another one out there we don't know about.
Yeah, there almost has to be. And that's
Is it
that
Finn?
yeah, that was the thing that like kind of struck me as a little odd, and that I was especially when Ben Solo died, it was like, well, now like cuz realistically what I was expecting to happen, I think that's and this is why I think it didn't happen was I was expecting Rey to kill Palpatine, become evil in a sense, or like accept her dark side, and then Ben Solo would actually become, or Kylo Ren would become back into Ben Solo and become more the Jedi that he was trained to be, the beginning. Like he was trained to be a Jedi and then turned to the dark side. And basically the two of them would then accept their dark side and their light sides together, and then they would be balanced within themselves.
Right.
And that
I can see where you'd think
like
that.
a whole new line of Jedis that aren't can still use the dark side of the Force without like doing evil things. Like because I mean realistically, the dark side of the Force is way cooler than the Jedi side of the Force. I'm just saying. The powers that they can do, like shooting lightning and doing that stuff, that's freaking cool. I want to be able
Right.
to shoot lightning. No, you don't see Luke Skywalker. You never got to see him shoot lightning out of his hands.
You got to see Ray do it though.
Yeah, that's right. Because she's part of the dark side of the Force. She's
Maybe she
accepted.
is the balance. Maybe she
She
has both
had.
sides.
Yeah, that's right. She's got both. She's like an Oreo cookie.
Oh, I almost made a sex joke, but I'll leave that out there.
But I.
So there was an end of one of the movies in the second, third, I guess third tier of movies,
Yeah. The
where I
third
can't remember
string.
which one it was, but in the end, there's this kid sweeping, and then all of a sudden he starts using the force and moving the broom with his mind.
Oh, I didn't remember
Who's
that
this
one.
kid? Is he turned to the dark side? Maybe he's the balance. I don't know. Maybe they just forgot.
Yeah. Well,
um,
and maybe it doesn't really matter because it's it leaves the door open for more movies to come because they're not going to stop making Star Wars movies. They're just going to change it up. Or maybe they'll just stop this storyline and tell something else, like or make some jump 50 years into the future and you know
well,
tell more
let me tell
stories,
you a
whatever.
theory that a guy at work told me. Dustin, if you're listening, here's your credit. You told me this. What if Ray being on Tatooine is like the reincarnation of Luke Skywalker and the whole thing starts all over again?
Like who would the bad guy be?
Well,
Because
now we have a Palpatine who is now the good. So maybe, another person is created by the Force, kind of like Anakin was. He had no father, he just happened. So maybe that happens again, and this family has to take care of things.
or
And it
maybe
all just it just keeps repeating itself.
I mean
Maybe that's what the Force does.
we never saw what happened to Ray's parents. Maybe they're still alive.
Could be.
And maybe one of them
We don't know
becomes
a lot of
evil.
things.
Ooh,
But
there
all
we
we do
go.
know is now here's
Yeah.
an orphan named Skywalker on a desert planet on a moisture farm. Sound familiar at all?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
they just brought it full circle, man. Now you know what? Whatever they do, this was a good movie, and if you haven't seen it, you really should go see it. Like it was entertaining. If you just enjoy a good entertaining story, I felt like this was a good entertaining story. I felt like, um,
I
I
thought
f-
it's the second best Star Wars movie ever made.
wow.
Yeah. The
That,
the episode 4 will always be my number 1. I don't care how good the movies get from now on.
yeah,
Rise of Skywalker is the second
but
one to me.
episode 5 has Ewoks in it.
I don't care. Everybody loves The Empire Strikes Back, and I just thought it was an okay movie.
I just like the Ewoks.
Yeah.
Like, I mean that's
Well,
really
most
all.
people do.
That's I mean, and I hope that Bill with Prolific Games is listening because I know he hates the Ewoks. So, no, you know what? This was a decent movie. It's not. I mean, it's not going to win awards. It's not some, um, it's not some groundbreaking movie that you've never seen before. It definitely fits the Star Wars mold. It definitely like I thought I did get a jaw drop moment when they brought up that she was a Palpatine. I mean,
Yeah, I
that
didn't see that coming.
did
That was
yeah,
a
didn't
really
see that one
well
coming.
kept secret.
Yeah, that one was handled really well. Um, so that made my jaw hit the floor. Um,
Yeah.
and so this movie had good parts. It had good twists. It had good turns. It had, the fight scene at the end, not like the dog fight, the space battle scene at the end with all the ships flying around and all that. I thought that was a lot of fun. Kind of brought back memories of the original series because I thought that was some of the coolest parts of the episodes 4, 5, and 6 is those battles of those space battles, the way they did those. I thought the effects were really good. So I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was really
Yeah,
good.
I did too. And, it was sad to see, the ending of the Skywalker saga, but the door is wide open. They can do
Oh yeah.
anything else they want to do. I mean,
Well,
the,
and
the universe they created is so vast. There's so
yeah,
many characters. I mean, for crying out loud, they made a great TV show out of The Mandalorian.
true. True that. Well, and Star Wars isn't done. Star Wars on the big screen is not done yet. I think they're going to take a break for a little while, but I had heard somewhere that they're still planning on releasing a movie every year after 2022 or starting in 2022.
I'm
So,
in.
they're still making these movies. They're still going to come out. So, just
Yeah.
hang on to your butts. It's happening.
Yeah. The it could be anything, and that's the beauty of it. You know, I I think I'm one of the few people that actually enjoyed the Solo movie and wish they would have done um, a Lando movie, but
Well, they could. They still kind of could.
they
Kind
could.
of
But people
maybe.
pre-hated the Solo movie before they even went and saw it, and they never had a chance. I think
Yeah.
if people actually took the time to watch that movie, they'd see it was actually pretty good.
Well,
Um,
cuz I mean they
but with that said, I mean, they made a Solo movie. They did the Rogue One, which covered why so many Bothans died getting the plans, that
yeah.
that kind of thing. They did the Mandalorian, or still doing the Mandalorian. They could pick a random character out of
Yeah.
that universe and make a great story around them.
Oh
That's
yeah.
how broad this is, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, they just don't keep beating this one horse and they decide, hey, you know what, we could just completely do something different, and it still would be Star Wars, and I'd be
Yeah.
good with it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm hoping too. I'd like to see something, you know, they don't even have to stay, kind of like I said before, they don't even have to stay with the current timeline. They can just go and say, "Hey, we're going to jump this way up into the future and see let's play it out. Let's tell some stories that are so far to where the Skywalkers are just they're a myth, a legend, type thing and people just know of the name but not anybody of it. Um
Well, they brought up something I thought was curious in the Rise of Skywalker, and that is there is a lot of people who would join the fight, but they were convinced they were alone.
yeah,
Cover one of those groups,
sure. Sure.
because obviously they had firepower. They brought it to the fight.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a good story backing any one of those ships that was in that battle.
Yeah, that's true.
Pick one of those. Let's
Yeah.
go through that saga. That would be
Yeah.
fantastic.
That would
If
be
they did it
cool.
right, of course. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I
I'm in.
said, it's you open the door and it's just this gigantic universe, and there's so much they could pick from.
Yeah.
So I'm good with the Rise of Skywalker. I thought it was well done. A nice bow on that present. Um, One comment I will make, and it's another huge spoiler. When we thought Chewbacca was dead,
Oh
my wife
God.
was not happy.
Yeah.
They can't kill Chewbacca. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think they did. Like that because it was just so not epic enough for a character like Chewbacca.
Right? Right? Yeah.
But I was
I
still relieved when he showed back up. So
Oh,
with
you and
that
me both.
said,
I was sitting there going, "Oh, come on. Not that way. Like give
Chewie
me
deserved better. Yeah,
yeah. Like come on. Han Solo gets stabbed by his kid and you just let Chewie blow up on a ship? Screw you." Like I was angry at that point. At that point I'm like, "Oh, the critics like all the people saying this movie sucks were right." Like that is the that is the worst way for Chewie to go out. I mean, Chewie's like
true.
the my favorite character. Him and the
Yeah,
Ewoks, you know? So, ah.
I could do without Ewoks, but they did show up in the Rise of Skywalker,
They
but at the
did.
very end. So
Yeah, they did.
because
I thought that
somebody
was
asked me
great.
before I went and saw that, like, do you think the Ewoks went extinct when the Death Star blew up over their planet? It's like I don't know, and then that was
Nope.
answered.
Nope.
So
They're
no,
there.
they're not extinct.
They're there and they're breeding like rabbits.
Well, what else are you gonna do when you're a cuddly teddy bear?
Teddy Rupskin.
Yeah.
Oh man. So the other movie I went and saw this week, or not this week, but since last time we recorded, was Jumanji: The Next Level. If you went and saw the first Jumanji movie, well, not the first, but the last Jumanji movie, the one with Jack Black and The Rock Johnson and Kevin Hart and those guys, and you enjoyed that movie, go watch this one. Because same kind of humor, same kind of jokes, a little bit more adult, but my kids enjoyed it. So it was really really fun. Uh, a lot more of the same jokes, a lot more of uh, just a lot more of the same. I'm not gonna spoil a whole bunch to it. There's not. I mean, honestly, you probably could. It's pretty cut and dry. You know, the good guys win at the end. Um, Danny DeVito and Danny Glover are freaking hilarious. They are hilarious before they get into the video game, and then after they get into the video game, you're just like, oh, that is even more priceless. Um, just loads and loads of fun. So go watch that movie too.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I really liked the first one with The Rock and all them. Because anything where The Rock and Kevin Hart get to play off of each other is going to be entertaining.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
And plus, Karen Gillan. So hey,
right.
so
Yeah,
yeah, I'd
she was
go.
amazing, and
I need
Jack
to see that. So I'm behind on that one, but I
the
will.
the combo of Kevin Hart, the Dwayne Johnson, and Jack Black. I want to see them do more movies, the three of them, because those guys just they are hilarious, and I don't know what else there is to say. Like those guys are so Kevin Hart and Jack Black are so funny just themselves, and then you throw The Rock in there, and his comedy is just completely different from theirs. Like it's more like the big oofty magoof type of guy, and it it works. I mean, it's almost like Kevin Hart and Jack Black were made to make fun of The Rock, and it's just funny. So yeah,
Yeah, I like all three of them. I like them, and when they're even not working together. So
yeah,
I just feel like the whole Jumanji thing, the reboot works.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I,
the first one only works because of Robin Williams. Honestly,
right. Mm-hmm.
the rest of it was like whatever. But this one, it's just a good collection of people, and the writing was solid, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's family, and you can have your family watch it.
Yeah, that's the big thing. This movie is perfect for all ages, which is the nice part about it. Is I don't like I can take my kids to it. It's still funny enough and has adult humor enough in it that I'm entertained, and it's got enough other stuff and story and action in it that the kids are entertained, and it's not a, it's not a animated movie. So and it's not a remake of a movie I've already seen. So I really enjoyed it. They did a really good job with it. And
Yeah.
it's got a moral compass to it, which is always kind of nice in a kids movie. So kind of important in a kids movie.
Well, I'm
But
glad you liked it. So it gives me hope when I go see, that when I decide, hey, I need to go see a movie, it gives me hope that hey, that one's going to be worth it.
yes, totally worth it. Totally worth it. All right, the other new thing that we need to talk about that came out is
Toss a coin to your Witcher.
yeah, I gotta we gotta talk about this because I got a lot to say about this.
Okay, I look forward to hearing this.
So first of all, I thought the series was really, really good. But, huge but, I know about the universe. I had done my research. I played the third game and I wanted to know more lore about The Witcher. So before this show even came out, I was looking back into the story that was in the first video game. I started looking into the books and reading reviews about the books because this is original, like this is a book series first. And so I started doing more research on that. So I understood the characters, the time period, and how they interconnected. So watching the series, I picked up on some things. So my question to you is, what did you think about this series?
Um, the first episode or two, I was like, yeah, this is okay. It's pretty decent. And then it just got better.
Yeah,
And I felt like it got better with each episode. And by the time the thing was over with, I was like, man, that was fantastic.
right?
I
Yeah.
only watched it really because Henry Cavill was in it.
Mm-hmm.
I figured that's enough to draw me in. I played three. I played Witcher 3. I didn't know it was a book series until recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the first book on reserve as library. I'm going to read it. But,
I'm listening
uh,
to the audiobook for it currently, so yeah.
nice. But I didn't know what to expect going in because I always feel like it's never going to really follow the source material
Sure.
as
Sure.
presented.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured with what they gave us, they did a pretty decent job of that. I mean, they didn't explain stuff enough for you to go, well, that was completely wrong or anything like that. They left it vague enough, I guess is the best word for it.
Yeah.
But, you know, it had good dialogue. I love that Henry Cavill just kept going, hmm. I
Yeah.
love that.
So,
Um,
okay, my question for you then,
okay.
since you did enjoy it, did you feel like as the episodes went on, you started to understand what you started picking up on the different time periods that this story was told in?
And that's what I struggled with in the first couple episodes. Once I realized they were doing a Westworld on me, that's I think when I started enjoying it more.
Yes. And that was the part that was the one thing that frustrated me the most was it wasn't until this I think the second to last or even maybe even the last episode before you truly understood that oh shit, this timeline is started this story they're telling you three stories about three different characters. This story started way over here, and this other story started here, and this other story is here, and we're gonna eventually weave them all back into one,
Right.
but we're not going to tell you that they're different time periods. And that frustrated me. It frustrated me because the average person going in and watching this isn't going to pick that up. They're not going to see that early enough. And I was talking to some people that I work with. They watched the first couple episodes, even the first 3 episodes, and they're just like, this just isn't working. Like, I'm too confused. I don't understand what's going on. I can't tell. Like, things don't make sense because in one episode, this person dies, and the next episode, they're back alive. And you can't tell that because of the scene or the setting that this world takes place in, you can't tell that you're going back in time. You can't
Right.
tell that you're looking at something that happened 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 5 years ago. You can't tell. It all looks the same. And you're going to lose new viewers if they're not careful with that.
Yeah. And I felt like in the first at least 2 episodes, they handled it poorly.
Yeah, I did
You
too.
had no idea. And then, but like I said, once I figured it out, it's like, holy shit, they're doing a Westworld on us. They're changing the timelines. Then I
Yeah.
really started getting into it.
Yeah. And then you start picking up the little things that are like, "Oh, hey, wait a second." Like, and for me it was the reason I was able to keep up with it was because I recognized the names of people that I had, read and looked up and understood throughout. And so it was like I really liked that side of it. Um, I could pick it up. I understood it. But again, I was going into it already knowing the general concept. I already knew the story of Ciri. I already knew the story of, of The Witcher. I already knew the story of Yennefer. Um, so
Yeah.
I already knew that those were at different timelines. And, but again, like you said, once you like, if you force yourself to get through the first 3 episodes, if you can get through that, then you're in. You're home free. Like though, then the I think it does a little bit better job of really showing you, like giving you that understanding of, hey, this is looking back at this. Like, oh, hey, you know, this is a scene that you've already seen, and now you're going to see that same scene from a different perspective, from a different person 3 episodes later. You start picking up on that, and then all of a sudden it all starts making sense. It's it's just dangerous. It's dangerous to do, like to do something like that. If you don't do it, if you can lose people, and that's what I'm afraid of. Um, I've already heard that they're going to do a second season, so I'm looking forward to that. Um, yeah,
Yeah, me too.
I just hope that the second season, um, well, I honestly, I'm hoping the second season kind of follows along with the book that I'm listening to right now, because the actual first book takes place after the TV show that you've seen. The TV
Oh,
show is,
really?
yeah, the TV show actually covers, so the stories, the first book, true book is, or first novel, I guess we should call it. The first novel is called The Blood of Elves, and uh, that takes place after Geralt and Ciri have already met, and he's taken her back to Kaer Morhen, which is the Witcher headquarters, basically
Okay.
the School of the Wolves headquarters. And so the what you see in the Netflix series, there's actually 2 books worth of short stories, and that is what the Netflix series covers. So it's funny when you look up on like Wikipedia and that you look up like the release dates of these books. In Europe, they all were like released in order, like every year. He was putting out this writer, and I wish I remembered his name, but it's something that is not It has a lot more consonants in it than I know how to pronounce. Um, like they came out every year. You look at the American releases of them though, and it's like there's this one here, and then like oh like this one, and then like this one way down here, and oh we're gonna go back to it's not in order of when they were released, so it's really kind of funny. But yeah, yeah, I'm excited. Like I got done watching it, and I immediately went and found the audiobook, and so yeah, I'm listening to the audiobook at work, and really enjoying it. So
Yeah, I can't wait to get the book, at least the first one, and see what it's like. Played the video game, liked it.
mm-hmm.
Don't remember the lore too much, but I
Yeah.
remember enjoying the video game. Uh, there were just certain things about the TV show that checks boxes for me. Um, the jumping around timelines actually works for me when I know what's going on.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
so that was something that worked for me. I thought some of the fighting and stuff and the way Henry Cavill kind of handled being this type of character worked really well. I thought
Oh
he was the
yeah.
perfect actor for it.
Mm-hmm.
This gigantic person, you know, um, it worked for me. And then the whole metamorphosis of Yennefer from
Mm-hmm.
Hunchback to what she eventually became. Yeah, that checked a lot of boxes for me. Hey, and plus you got naked, so that checked a great big
Oh
box for me.
man,
So
yeah. I will say I was watching this. There it was. You know, it was over the Christmas break time period when I was watching this, and I was, at one point I was working from home, like right, working on some stuff, and so I had it on, and then I can't remember. Amber had gone somewhere to do something, and so I was just the kids were there, and they came walking up this. I hear them come walking down the hallway, and I hit pause, and I had to pause it before they got to the door because it was like at a scene where there wasn't any nudity. But it was when Geralt first like found Yennefer in one of the towns she was in, and she had kind of like turned the like like the mayor's castle into a like um orgy house or
oh
whatever,
yeah, yeah.
and so it was just like all naked people, and I'm like, this is like I hear them coming, and right now there are no naked people on the screen, so I'm going to pause it here, wait for them to come in the door, figure out what they want. Once they walk back out the door, play. Yeah, I
There
don't
you
need to
go.
explain to them like why I have naked people on my TV,
Yeah.
or let
And it
alone,
surprised me that there was nudity. I didn't expect it.
oh, I did just from the video game. I
Well, yeah, but again, I, I just didn't expect. For some reason, it just didn't feel like it was going to go that way to me.
Yeah,
But it did.
no, yeah, I kind of expected it for two reasons. One, uh, it's a European story. This is not an American story. This is not an American author that
There you
wrote
go.
this.
Yeah.
This is, and they have a different perspective to all of that. And they're very open and out in that stuff. So yeah, it didn't surprise me at all. I expected it as well. The amount of it kind of shocked me a little bit. I'm glad it was Netflix, so that you know, um,
You can parental control that stuff.
right? Yeah, but yeah, no, the story was great. I loved it. I was
Yeah.
stoked when it was over. I was mad because I wanted it to keep going. I wanted one more episode, and they've been approved for the second one, but I've heard that the filming hasn't started yet for it. So
That's too bad.
we we might have a little while to wait, but
Yeah. And that type of filming where I guess you could say we'll just call it rated R for lack of a better way of putting it,
mm-hmm.
is what I wish they would do with a space sci-fi movie. everything that is out there that I like that is space wise, it's sanitized.
Yeah.
Life isn't sanitized. You know,
Yeah.
Star Wars is sanitized, Star Trek is sanitized, Battlestar Galactica is sanitized. I would like, and if it's not sanitized, then it's a horror movie. I
Right.
want a sci-fi, I want a space sci-fi movie that's not a horror movie and it's not sanitized. Make it
Yeah.
real,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
I mean,
And
you've got a ship of people, um, like
human beings, they're going to be
th-
human beings, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. They're gonna try to
They're going to
procreate.
drop f-bombs.
Yeah.
They're going to want to do each other. I mean, this is just life.
Yeah.
But and I complain to my wife all the time. It's like I want to see that movie. I want to see that sci-fi movie where it's real.
Yeah. No, I can
And
agree
I
with you
got it
there.
in Witcher. Now I want it in outer space.
Yeah.
So give me the Witcher in outer space, and I'll be happy.
There we go. That's the next one. Sequel. Witcher
Yeah,
2 is going to be in
Witcher
outer
in
space.
space.
So, all right, one more show that we got to talk about. Probably won't spend as long on this one as we did on the others, but I've been meaning to watch the second season of Jack Ryan. And yesterday, as I said, this last weekend I was at a soccer tournament all weekend, so I was just by Monday I was toast and I was staying home with the kids. The kids were tired, I was tired, so I was just like, "Hey, let's have a chill day." So, I was putting away laundry watching the second season of Jack Ryan, and I was just going to watch a couple episodes. And then the next thing you know, I've watched 5 episodes. And then I'm like, okay, well, I have to fix dinner for these kids. So we ate dinner and did all that. And then I was like, you know what? I got them to bed. I'm like, you know what? I want to watch one more episode before I go to bed. I'm not gonna stay up really late tonight. I'm already tired. So I start episode 6. There's 8 episodes left, or there's 8 episodes in the season. I started 6. Next thing I know, it's 12:30 at night, and I have finished the second season. So in one day, I binge watched Jack Ryan season 2. I'm very proud of myself for that. That show is freaking fantastic. Um, I don't. I want more Jack Ryan. I hope there's a season 3 coming. Season 1 was really good. Season 2 is really good. I love Tom Clancy. I have read a lot of Tom Clancy books. I like Jack Ryan. Even though he's not my favorite Tom Clancy character, he is definitely what is it? John Krasinski, right?
Yeah.
Is freaking fantastic as Jack Ryan. He is my favorite Jack Ryan on the screen out of any of them. He's better than Harrison Ford. He's way better than Ben Affleck. Like who else has been it? Alec Baldwin, I think.
Alec Baldwin, yeah.
Yeah, he's way better
Time
than
for Red
Baldwin.
October.
Yeah. So no, John Krasinski, best one ever. Freaking awesome. That's all
Yeah,
I
and
gotta say.
when the first one came about, we watched it hesitantly because, like, I don't know how good John Krasinski could be because, you really know him from The Office and him
Yeah.
breaking the fourth wall by staring at the camera. And I kept expecting him to do that, but then after a while, you lost him into the character,
Yeah.
and because he did such a great job. So,
And this second season, he does even better. Like he's just, I mean, the emotion that he puts into it, the all of it, just top notch, really good. I want more.
and I felt like the second season was every bit as good as the first.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's
Hey,
a
cat,
cat.
get out of here.
Yeah, no, the second season was, and the stories are really good. That's the other thing is, you know, the Tom Clancy stories are, um, they're complicated. They're not straightforward. The books are not an easy read from beginning to end. They are very complex and with weaving storylines and political intrigue and all this stuff. And Honestly, I think TV or this episodic nature of it is better suited for them. It allows for the story to drag on longer but not in a bad way, like in a good
Yeah,
way.
enough to fill in some gaps for you, that's for sure.
Right. I think some of the problems with some of those movies, like Patriot Games and Hunt for Red October and um, Clear and Present Danger and whatnots, they are like they're hamstrung with how short they have to be. We have to tell the story in a 2.5, or 1.5 to 2.5 hour movie. If we go 3 hours, we're gonna lose audience. We're gonna lose people to watching it. But realistically, the Jack Ryan's season 1 and season 2 are 8 hour long movies. They all go together. Every episode fits. It just takes place one after another. There's not like a big gap in them, and they they did a great job. I love Jack Ryan, so go watch that if you haven't watched it. It's on Amazon
Yeah.
Prime.
Amazon Prime. Yeah, it's worth it, that's for sure. And it's another one of those shows that I feel like when the last episode hits and you watch it, it was the perfect amount of time.
Yep.
It wasn't too many episodes. It wasn't too few episodes. You didn't get tired of it, and you didn't play like, holy cow, they cut that off way too short. It was like, it's over, and I'm glad. But I'm
Yeah.
really glad I watched it.
Right. All right. Well, there you go, everybody. That's another episode we got. We were a little bit longer this week, so make up for us not being here next week. But we will be back the week after that, ready to go with more stuff to talk about. We're definitely talking about board games next week because we got lots of
2
board
weeks.
games to talk
2
about. Or
weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Sorry. The next episode. In episode 277, we're going to be talking board games. We're going to be talking about Kip over there playing Battlestar Galactica. I'm hoping to get a game of Seven Wonders in. Talk about that. My first time playing that game. Also, for the first time, have you ever played a game or heard of a game called Rubik's Race?
I have not. I saw
It's
that in the
like
notes. It's like, I don't know this one.
go look it up. And apparently, it came out in the 80s. But it's like remember those games that you get where it had like a whole bunch of squares in it except one was missing and you had to like slide the pieces around to make a picture?
Yeah.
That's kind of what this is, except it's using Rubik's Cube colors and you're racing somebody else to make a specific pattern that is randomized. Really, really fun.
Okay.
Way funner than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, we will definitely talk about that next week too. So,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Next episode. I keep saying next week. Next episode. All right. You got anything else you want to throw out there, Kip, before we wrap this sucker up?
Just that if you are in the market for like a universal remote and you don't want Alexa or any of those spying on you, I'll do a review on it sometime. We got a Cavo, what's called a Cavo, Caavo.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that sometime. But if you're in the market now, they sell them on Amazon for like $50. Check them out. They're awesome.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah, we'll have
And
to
that
talk
was
about
an
that one.
unpaid endorsement.
There you go, everybody. All right, you know the drill. Check out our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/geekvice. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at Geekvice. You can follow that man over there at Kip Killigan. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go check that out. Hit that subscribe and like button. Also, throw some comments in there, either on the YouTube page or on wherever you're getting your podcast from. Throw some comments in there. Throw some likes our way. Always helps us out. show that we're not completely worthless and that somebody is listening. And of course, as always, you can reach us by email at geekvice@gmail.com. Thanks everyone for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next week.
See ya.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.